Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the CB Baker Show, and this is your host CB Baker. I got a great guest today. Now, she has been on the show before, and it was one of the most watched episodes I've ever had, and it was a good episode. And,
awesome.
Yeah, and I knew when I resurrected the show and brought it back, I said I've got to get Tennille back on the show.
All right.
And so welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me. Happy to be back.
So
Yes.
now, so what has happened since it's been like 2 years since we had the last episode? So what has happened with you?
Man, I guess so much. I'm still owning my own salon. I still have the women's group. I still sing in the praise team, direct the choir, the angel choir, all those things.
Yeah.
And I'm a mom and a wife on top of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the question I ask everybody on the show, how did you get to your purpose and your calling? What happened? How did you get there?
Wow. I can say from a young child, I always thought I was going to be singing somewhere. I thought I was going to be on somebody's stage. I was going to be famous. You could not tell me that I was not going to be in Destiny's Child. I just knew singing was my, per se, dream or what I was supposed to be doing. So I came to Virginia to pursue that. It didn't work out. So I said, okay, well, Lord, what else is there?
Right.
I always had my styling license as a cosmetologist. So I ended up working at a salon, went from salon to salon till I ended up at my own salon, owning my own salon. And I did not know that was in the cards for me. I never wanted to own a salon. I never wanted to be a salon owner or business owner. I just wanted to sing, which is very interesting. So from that, being a salon owner and stylist, I've met with so many women in my chair who not only just get their hair done for me, but it ends up being a soul therapy session. I get to encourage them, and because I've always been, and God, my parents were pastors and preachers, and I've always went to church, and God has always been in me. I've been saved at an early age, so I always got to encourage them while they were sitting in my chair. And I think that's why they continue to come back to me. It's not that I'm the best stylist in the world, but they get that soul therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
When you came here to sing,
yes,
and it didn't work out,
mm-hmm.
walk me through that thought process. Was it devastating or shock, or was it more like a gradual thing? Because if you saw it happening, like that maybe this is not going to happen.
I just saw my dreams being crushed in front of my face, and I was like, wow, well, maybe, it's not supposed to be. But I didn't give up. I still love to sing. I love to write. I loved being in the studio. So I then, one of the young ladies in it was a four girl group, and one of them, her name was Naima. I asked her, if she wanted to do a gospel album. And so we did a gospel inspirational album together. We did that. We put that out. She still lived in New York at the time, and I was still in Virginia. So we didn't get to promote it like I thought we, should or could have.
Right.
But a lot of people were blessed by it. So I feel like, okay, I did that. And then I began to get more involved in church at Enoch Baptist Church, where my pastor and father-in-law is Dr. Daniels. So I got more involved in church, and I started on the praise team. And then I started to say, okay, this must be where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
I'm supposed to sing for God, and whoever gets touched, that's my purpose. That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
So when you,
as far as the singing is concerned,
right, when you got to that moment,
yes,
when you realized it just walk me through that feeling. How did you feel?
Strangely enough, it felt like I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. This is I guess I've grown more spiritually, and I felt like I want to encourage people. I want them to want to get saved. I want to inspire them however I can. And at that moment, it was singing. singing in the praise team, singing in the choir. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
That's how I felt, and I felt good about that. I didn't feel like, oh, I still have to be famous. I felt like I'm doing what God wants me to do.
Right.
So that's something great, you know?
Right.
But then at the same time, I feel, sometimes you feel like greater. You feel like greater is coming. You're supposed to be doing something great.
Yeah.
Not going to cry. But that's how I feel.
It's interesting how a lot of people that I've talked to with that same similar story is like God jolted them out of one situation where he's like, when he really doesn't want you to do something, you get this like almost like a 2x4 upside the head.
Not for you.
Right.
Yes.
And then you're like, well, wait a minute, this is what I want to do. He's like, well, just hold on. And then he gradually
I have
moves
something else.
I have something else for you to do. Now, the interesting thing about what you and singing is not like you lost your voice.
No.
You have the ability to go in the studio to do all the things you want to do. And then you can, every Sunday, you can sing to your heart's content.
Yes.
So you're able to still do what you want. And then let's transition to the people in your chair.
Yes. Ooh, yes.
So
Wow.
I get a sense of fulfillment when you talk about that.
Oh,
being able to help the ladies in your chair.
I love it. I love it. I love the fact that they're comfortable enough to talk to me about what's going on in their lives, and the fact that I can encourage them, but encourage them through God, even if they don't know God.
Right.
So that feels good to me, or just give me a call if you need to call me about something, or I've been through that, or I know somebody who's going through that. They can talk to you. So it's such fulfillment in that, because I love helping. I love helping, women.
Right. So now for the people listening, what advice can you give them on that transition from what they thought they ought to be doing to transitioning over to what God called them to do?
Yes. I would say, you have to be okay with where you are. You have to be grateful for where you are. And then, God will take you higher. He will take you to where you're supposed to be, but you have to be okay. You can't be upset with God. You can't say, oh, I'm supposed to be this, I'm supposed to be that. You have to be at peace with just touching one person compared to you wanting to touch millions, because that can come. But if you touch one person, that's something great. Yeah. You have to be okay with that.
Because you don't know that one person who they touch, and then they could touch somebody else.
That's right.
With your same message.
That's right.
I often tell people, I said, like even with podcasting, I did it off and on for years. And then sometimes I go back and look at the stuff, even like the episode me and you did.
Yes.
And people from, Germany and Japan, all over the world have listened to the episode. We did it.
Yes.
Did it in like 40 minutes and I uploaded it, and that was it.
Yes.
So it's just amazing how you can touch people that you don't even know you're going to touch through the technology that we have today.
Definitely. Definitely.
So the Angels Choir. So tell me about that. I know this has to be tough working with kids.
Oh, I love kids. I love the babies. Oh, I love them. So, it's kind of tough getting the children together. You have to go through their parents.
Right.
So it's a lot of calling them, a lot of texting them, a lot of saying, please come on out. I know y'all back in school, so now it's time to serve God too. You have to reach out for the parents to get their children involved. So I do that. I take the time to call whoever I can. I know they have kids. Tell them to bring your kids on out to choir rehearsal. And sometimes I'll just say, if they have a friend, bring them too.
All right. So how do you go about choosing the song for that particular choir?
For the Angel Choir, I want it to be simple, but I want it to be meaningful. I want them to get something out of what they're singing. Yeah. So, but it has to be repetitive for them, because they're from ages 3 to 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I make it fun for them. We just don't stand there and sing. You know, we're moving, we're clapping, we're dancing, we're having fun. You know, I want them to enjoy the Lord. I want them to be happy when they're there, not feel like, I have to do this. I don't want to do this. You know, I want them
Right.
to enjoy it. Sometimes I even give them little treats after they finish singing, and it's all right. Saying, great job.
Right. So let's talk about the types
Yeah.
of songs that's in gospel music.
Mm-hmm.
So what type of songs do you like to sing in gospel music if you had your choice?
Oh, me? Oh, let's see. I don't know. I love all types of gospel music, inspirational gospel. I love old school gospel. I love hymns. I have a wide range of music. So I guess if I had my choice, it would be, I like Travis Green. I love Kirk Franklin, Mary, Tasha Cobbs. So it's a mix.
Yeah.
I would
So now
say.
when you get in your car and you're going on a 40-minute ride, what are you listening to?
Mhm. Have mercy.
And the good
Order my
plug.
steps. Yes, it will get you anywhere you have to go.
You know,
Yeah.
funny stories. Like I remember when I first came to Enoch, I
Mhm.
think Dr. Daniels stood up and said something about the song. I said, "Oh, okay, let me support it." I went
Okay.
right on my phone
Uh-huh.
because still had the iPhone way back then, and then went and bought the song and didn't even know who you were.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it still pops up on my playlist every once in a while.
All right.
So now,
Uh-huh.
have you completely given up the gospel dream as a singer? You're holding on to it. You moved on. You're content with the people in the chair, or you're in your salon.
I think that I don't know if I have the energy to put into it. I just don't have that energy right now, and I don't know why. But maybe I'm more focused right now on Cameron and getting him through school and making sure he's good. Maybe when I retire, then it's like, it could be about me again.
Right.
You know, because it takes a lot of time. It takes money. You have to be in the studio for hours. It's not an easy thing if you want to do it right.
Right.
You know, you can do something easy. You could go in there and sing a little something and not make sure that the harmonies are right and make sure, you know, the leads are right with the ad-libs. You can, when I do something, I put my all into it. It's almost like a perfectionist thing with it. So it's not that simple to just go in there and make another album.
Right.
You know, you have to be ready. And that time has to be available. So
And you have to be passionate about it, because if you don't,
Yeah.
if you're not
I'm
passionate
definitely
about it,
passionate about it, but I need that time. So it would have to be after my son has graduated.
right? Yeah, because you got a lot going on.
Got a lot going on. I'm like, I don't even have the time to look at myself. I mean,
Now, one thing I will say about you is that you don't give yourself enough credit for is you're a master networker.
okay, you think so?
You know a lot of people. You're
Okay.
able to connect people to certain things.
Yes.
I know if I was to call you up and I could say, Tennille, I need somebody to fix the roof of my house.
Right. I'd be like, hold on.
Right.
Girl, who fixed your roof? Yes, I know. I understand that. Yes.
So what makes you so outgoing and extroverted? Like, where does that come from?
I guess it should be from my parents. They were always on the move. My father, he was a pastor of the church, and my mother, she talked to everybody. She's an evangelist, minister, teacher. So I guess it would come from my parents for sure.
So your upbringing
Mm-hmm.
from in the church and being more outgoing and outspoken, from your parents, like
Yeah, and I don't know. God just made me this way. He just made me this way. I can't explain it.
So you always was talkative in school and things?
No,
Oh, really?
I wouldn't say that I was talkative in school. I was probably more quiet in school. I guess as a stylist, that's when I do most of my talking. That's when I'm most outgoing. So in school, I don't know.
So what makes
Probably quiet.
what makes you more comfortable behind the chair and with the people in the chair that gets you to open up and be more talkative with the people?
I guess because I just want to make sure that they're okay, not just outside but inside too. And I want them to know God the way that I do. So sometimes you have to talk about other things to make your way to talk about God and get them to go to church, and if they're not in the church already. So that and I have done that, and a lot of them have come to Enoch.
Right.
So, I get joy in that. That makes me happy.
So what do you think your success rate is on getting people to come to church?
Let's see. I don't know, but I got at least a 10.
Wow.
2, 3. Yeah, at least 10. So I'm trying.
Wow. So now the age-old question for like podcasters. If you could put anything on a billboard that will be on 264 for everybody riding up and down for coming to Virginia Beach.
Wow.
What would you put up there?
It's still my testimony. It's you're waiting on God, but God is waiting on you. Things will turn around once you try God, once you trust God, once you have faith, once you believe in yourself, things will turn around for you. So you're waiting on God, but God's waiting on you.
All right. Now I'm gonna ask you another question.
Okay.
So at what point can you pinpoint the time that you said, I absolutely trust God?
Oh yes, for sure. For sure. It was a time where I was in a dark place and I was going through my divorce. This is my testimony. I went to a church, and this lady called me up. I'm just sitting there minding my business. I had been praying to God, Lord, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm here. I'm going through this, and, it's too much for me. And, but I hadn't been going to church, and I hadn't been, I've been raised a certain way, and I wasn't going to church. I wasn't praising God. I wasn't worshiping God, nothing. So I went up there, and she said to me, you have a good heart. God knows you have a good heart. He trusts you. He's waiting on you.
Wow.
Changed my life. And I ended up, going to Enoch and staying there, joining the church, going from the back to the front.
All the way to the front, for real.
All the way to the front. I mean, I used to sit in the back. I didn't want nobody to see me. Right. I was sad. I was depressed. I was going through, but put me up to the front of the church, and I have not turned back since. It was that day.
Yeah.
It was that day. Whew. Sometimes you got to take a step out on faith.
So when you got there and you took that step out on faith, how long did it take you to really settle in it
and be okay? Right. A good year. Yeah. Saying I'm okay. I should have known that I was going to be okay. I should have just trusted God. You never need anybody. You only need God. Yeah. But I had to learn that.
Yeah, I think what I'm trying to do with the show is trying to get people to understand that it's really almost a myth that when you get saved or when you take your step of faith, take your step out on faith, that is almost instant. It is not. Now, definitely. The jolt may be instant, but the transition from that moment and that space into the next space
takes time.
Can take time.
Takes time. I even needed therapy. I had to talk to someone myself. That light bulb switches on, and after that, it's like peace.
Yeah,
just comes upon you. It's amazing. So you just got to take that step. Yeah.
That's why, like I said, I tell people you just got to just trust the process. And the devil does get busy.
Yes, he does.
But it's only busy if you allow him to be busy.
That's true.
And I know in seminary they keep telling us about, keep your focus on God, and everything else kind of just falls to the wayside. And it's similar to what you just said. It's like once you got your focus on God and you kept it straight, and you went essentially from the back of the church.
Yes.
Well, essentially you went from out the church into the church, back in the church, and then went for the transition from the back, to the front.
Yeah.
So I just love your story.
Oh, thank you.
It's inspiring. That's why I wanted to make sure that you got back up here for a quick update on everything that you're doing.
Okay.
So let's transition right now to the pandemic.
Okay. Yes.
Now, you're a hairstylist.
Yes.
I know you was hit hard during that, what, 8-9 months where we was almost completely shut down.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I was closed down for about 3 months. And then after that, people start calling. They wanted their hair done.
Right.
Okay. So I trusted God, and he just kept bringing people in. So I felt like I never stopped except for those 3 months. After that, I was working. And it was unbelievable because I thought people were going to be like, no, I'm not coming in.
Yeah.
People still, they wanted to come in to get their hair done.
Yeah.
I said, put your mask on.
And the nail salons was open too.
Yeah.
You know. So it's just interesting. Now, did you miss singing? 'Cause I know the church was closed.
Oh, yes. I mean, virtual was okay for in the beginning, but I wanted to go back to church for sure. And it felt so good being able to go back to church. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I love being in the sanctuary, being around other saints, just feeling the Spirit of God. When I'm at home, I'm feeling like, oh, I'm listening, but I'm washing clothes. I'm listening, but I'm cooking. Listening, but so I can't focus when I'm at home. So I love being at church. And I know it's hard for, some older people and other people, they can't come.
Right.
I feel sorry. I feel sad for them. I really do. I hope it changes.
Now, one thing I will say is during the pandemic, because I was filming all the services that aired with Dr. Daniels, and and I remember talking to him, and he was just like, I can't. It's hard for me to get into it because there's nobody there, and I'm people that know me. I'm not a shouting type person. I give you a thumb.
Quiet spirit.
Right, I give you a thumbs up, and you're good to go. And he was like, well, I have nobody to feed off of. And I was like, well, okay. So then I went back and looked at some old clips, like old videos. And I was like, yeah, he is way more animated.
Wow.
I said, we're going to have, kept trying to get him to be more animated. And Dr. Daniels is like, it's just not
the same. It's
not the same.
It's not. And
the second we open back up the church, it's like the Holy Spirit jump right back in his body. Boom.
Yeah.
He's able. It's
awesome.
night and day.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand. I've seen it myself with my own eyes, where you talk with people and you say, okay, well, I need you to do basically a sermon, but you're going to be talking to a camera.
Right.
With a microphone.
I get it.
Right. And I'm the only one standing there. And then after a while, you don't even see me no more. You just see a camera.
Right.
So. I
understand that. I'm glad, we've been doing well at Enoch, so we haven't had a whole bunch of outbreaks,
Right.
So I'm grateful for that. God is keeping us safe.
Yes.
Because it is scary, scary times.
Yeah, because a lot of churches have not opened back up.
They're not.
And they're looking like they're not going to open back up.
Which is sad. It's sad.
So if you had any suggestions on how to make virtual church for the people that's listening, even for myself, because I run the virtual part of Enoch, how can we make that better?
Better? I don't know how we can make it better.
More connect better with the people.
I think virtual, what you're doing virtually is fine. I just think it's about us being home in the comfort of our home. And
the home is distraction.
Yeah, home is the distraction. You have so many things you want to do while you're at home compared to being at church. So
right.
There's nothing better you can do. You're doing great.
Right, because you're sitting there in church and you ain't like you getting up going to go cook
That's
some
right. You're not doing anything else.
Lunch.
You're right. You're focused.
Right, because I can also say that happens to me at at home if I'm looking at the virtual stream. Then I say, okay, well I can go over and cook some bacon.
That's
and
right.
the kids is talking. Right. So definitely gonna have to work on being able to get more connected with the people through virtual because I ain't think of that because they have a lot of distractions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
but we can only do what we can do.
Right.
Hope for the best.
So what do you have going on that you like to let everybody know about?
Well, I love my women's group. It's called Uplift, Encourage, Unite. And we're going to be making baskets, a basket distribution for Thanksgiving. So if anybody wants to join in and help with that, please give me a call or email me or inbox me on Facebook, Tennille Daniels. It is on Facebook. And after that, let me see. I want to start creating a women's website. I want it to be more of a resource website for women. I would like to get into that more. And then, I don't know, I'll see what God takes me.
Resource like what?
Resources for women going through whatever they're going through. I want to be able to have information there. It could be depression. It could be mental health. It could be divorce. It could be anything. I want to be able to have a site where you can get information of help or people listed that you can call and talk to if you're going through this or if you're going through that. That's what I want to do.
Okay. That sounds, I know my wife Sherry would be able to help out with the resource list for that. So
All right.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward. That's a good idea.
Yes. That would be awesome. I got to talk to some people about that.
Yes, it will. Well, Tennille, thank you so much for joining the show. And thank you all for listening. This is your host, CB Baker. Till next time.